Have you noticed how she glows when you chase her but fades the second you stop? Or how she texts only when she's lonely but disappears the moment life gets exciting? Those aren't quirks. Those are patterns. Patterns that show she doesn't want you, she wants the power your attention gives her. Today, we're exposing the 8 red flags that reveal when a woman is using you for her ego. And if even a few of these sound familiar, understand. It's not a relationship. It's a trap. The sooner you recognize that truth, the sooner you can escape it. But before we go deeper, pause for a second and ask yourself this. Do you feel like a man in control or a man waiting to be chosen? Does she make you stronger or weaker every time you're around her? If you don't like your answer, it's because you already know. You're trapped in a dynamic that steals more from you than it gives. Facing that truth isn't easy, but it's the first step to taking back your control. So if you're ready to face it, hit that subscribe, drop a like, and let's talk about it in the comments. When you look at your situation honestly, are you being valued or are you being used? Because what comes next will draw that line clearly. And once you see it, you'll never tolerate less again. Red flag number 1. She loves the chase but hates the catch. Some women are addicted to the thrill of being pursued, not to the man who's pursuing them. They crave the attention, the energy, the compliments, the late-night texts, the good morning calls, the flowers, the dinners, the effort. But only while the game is alive. The moment you slow down, the moment you stop pouring all your energy into chasing and expect her to meet you halfway, the light in her eyes goes dim. What you thought was attraction was never really about you. It was about the high she got from being wanted. Think back for a second. When you were blowing up her phone, she was smiling, engaging, full of life. But the second you paused, waiting for her to take initiative, silence. She didn't step forward. She stepped back. And that right there, that silence, tells you everything you need to know. That's not what a woman in love does. A woman who truly values you doesn't just feed off your pursuit. She builds with you. She invests. She shows up. But here's the trap most men fall into. When she starts to pull away, you panic. You assume it's a test. You think, if I just try harder, she'll come back. So you chase faster. You text more. You double your effort. What you don't realize is, the harder you run, the less she respects you. Because you've just confirmed what she already suspected, that her value is higher than yours. You've proven that she can withdraw, and you'll keep supplying the chase. But here's the truth. A genuine relationship isn't built on pursuit. It's built on partnership. 2 people moving toward each other, not one sprinting while the other stands still. So if she only shines when you're chasing, but fades when you pause, understand this. It's not love. It's a one-sided race. And the sooner you stop running, the sooner you'll save your dignity. Red flag number 2. She flirts but never commits. This one traps more men than any other because it keeps you hooked longer than you should ever stay. She knows exactly how to give you just enough to keep your hopes alive, but never enough to move the relationship forward. She'll call you babe. She'll send playful emojis. She'll touch your arm when you're together. Little sparks designed to ignite your imagination. And you take the bait, thinking, this is progress. She's warming up. She's finally letting me in. But every time you try to take it further, when you ask her out for a real date, when you try to have a serious conversation about where this is going, or when you make a move that signals you're ready for something deeper, she suddenly pumps the brakes. Now she's not ready. Now she just wants to keep things chill. And suddenly you're confused, because she gave you the signals, and then slammed the door in your face. Here's the ugly truth. She's not confused. You are. She knows exactly what she's doing. Flirtation is her currency, and you're the one paying the price. The mistake men make is believing that patience will change her. You tell yourself, if I'm just a little more romantic, more understanding, she'll finally give in. But that patience only keeps you circling the same dead end. If a woman is truly interested, she doesn't dangle affection like a prize in a carnival game. She doesn't make you guess. She steps forward. If instead she keeps throwing sparks but blocks any attempt to move closer, you're not dealing with interest. You're dealing with a tease. And the longer you chase a tease, the more power she has, and the less respect you'll ever get. So stop running in circles chasing an illusion. Stop waiting for someday, because the longer you chase her, the further you drift from yourself. Red flag number 3. You feel drained, not valued. At the end of the day, the biggest red flag isn't what she says. It's how you feel after being with her. A healthy connection should leave you stronger, lighter, more confident. You should walk away from her feeling energized, not exhausted. But when a woman is using you for her ego, you'll notice the opposite effect. You leave interactions feeling empty, like something's been taken from you. Picture this. You plan a night out. You pay for dinner. You bring your best energy. You listen. You compliment. You make her laugh. On the surface, it seems perfect. But when you get home, there's no sense of fulfillment, no peace, no warmth, just a strange heaviness. That's not overthinking. That's your instinct screaming the truth, because your energy knows when it's being drained. Men ignore that gut feeling all the time. You tell yourself she'll come around, or you're just being insecure. But your emotions don't lie. If you're constantly questioning where you stand, if you feel anxious after every interaction, if you keep wondering why nothing you do is ever enough, that's not love. That's depletion. You're in an energy exchange where you're the donor and she's the collector. A woman who values you will build you up, even in small ways. She'll leave you with peace, not turmoil. She'll make you feel more like yourself, not less. So pay attention to your reflection after you walk away. Do you feel taller or smaller? Do you feel secure or unsettled? If it's the latter, it's time to face it. You're not being loved, you're being drained. And the longer you stay, the more of yourself you'll lose. Red flag number 4. She craves validation, not connection. Some women aren't searching for love, they're searching for an audience. To them, every interaction is a performance. You're not her partner, you're her applause. She constantly needs to be admired, reassured, and reminded that she's special. She'll ask, "Do you think I look good in this?" Or, "Tell me what you like most about me." And every time you answer, every time you give her that boost, she shines a little brighter for a moment. But when the spotlight turns toward you, when you start sharing your own thoughts, your struggles, or your dreams, her energy fades. You'll notice her attention drifts. Her tone flattens. You might hear her say, "Oh, that's nice," before she flips the conversation back to herself. That's not partnership. That's performance. You're the giver. She's the collector. You're the mirror reflecting her beauty back at her, while she never looks deeply enough to see yours. Most men think if they just give more compliments, more effort, more reassurance, she'll eventually reciprocate. But that's the illusion. A woman who lives off validation doesn't suddenly wake up craving connection. She doesn't want a bond. She wants a boost. You're not filling her heart. You're refilling her ego. Here's the difference. A genuine woman will not only love being admired, she'll admire you too. She'll listen when you talk. She'll ask questions that matter. She'll remember the small details. She'll show interest in your growth, your vision, your reality. That's what connection looks like. Two people feeding each other's spirits, not one feeding the other's insecurities. So ask yourself, does she only glow when the conversation is about her? Or does she light up when she's learning about you? If her excitement only exists when she's being admired, then you're not her man. You're her audience, and no man with self-respect should keep paying for a front row seat to a show that never includes him. Red flag number 5. She only reaches out when she's bored. This one is subtle, but deadly. When her life is full, when she's surrounded by friends, parties, excitement, or even another man, you barely exist. But the moment her world quiets down, when plans fall through, when the phone stops buzzing, or when loneliness creeps in, suddenly, you're her favorite person again. Not because she misses you, not because she values your presence, but because she needs something to fill the silence. You've probably seen it happen. She ignores your messages for days. You convince yourself she's busy. Then out of nowhere, late at night, your phone lights up with a simple, "Hey." No context, no plan, just bait. And of course, part of you feels flattered. You think, she's thinking about me. But she's not thinking about you. She's thinking about herself. You're not her priority. You're her distraction. And the mistake most men make? They reward this behavior. You respond instantly. You rearrange your night. You give her your energy, your attention, your presence, on demand. What you don't realize is that every time you do this, you train her. You teach her that you'll always be there when she's bored. You teach her that your time, your focus, and your emotions come cheap. And the more you reward it, the more she'll keep using you this way. Understand this. A woman who truly values you doesn't reach out only when she's restless. She reaches out because she cares. Because she wants to connect. She'll call you not to pass time, but to make time. She'll initiate plans, not just conversations. That's what interest looks like. Consistency, effort, intention. So be honest with yourself. Does she ever reach out ahead of time to plan something meaningful? Or does she only remember you when she's lonely at midnight? If it's the latter, you're not her man, you're her filler. And the moment her calendar fills up again, you'll fade back into the background. No self-respecting man should ever settle for being someone's temporary distraction. Red flag number 6. She never makes time for you. Here's one of the most powerful truths you'll ever learn about relationships. Time is the truest form of honesty. A woman can say she likes you. She can flirt. She can text all day. But if she never makes time for you, her actions are revealing the truth. You're not a priority. Think about how often you've been the one rearranging your schedule. You cancel plans. You shift work. You bend your life around hers just to spend an hour together. And yet when you ask her to do the same, suddenly she's too tired, too busy, or not in the mood. It's funny, right? She has time for her friends, time for scrolling on TikTok, time for Netflix binges, but somehow, never time for you. And that's not coincidence. That's choice. Because here's the truth. When a woman truly values you, she'll make time. Even if she's busy, she'll find moments. She'll plan ahead. She'll compromise. You won't have to chase her calendar because she'll be actively making space for you in hers. The mistake men make is believing they can earn that time by trying harder. You send more messages. You become extra flexible. You make it easy for her. But all that does is lower your value. Because the more available you are, the less she respects your presence. She learns that you'll always adjust, that she never has to. And once she knows that, the game is over. She holds all the power. But here's what strong men understand. A man who respects his time never begs for scraps of attention. He doesn't compete for someone's leftover hours. He recognizes that if she wanted to, she would. And if she doesn't, he walks away. Because he knows his time is worth something. So ask yourself, are you constantly chasing her schedule while she never bends for yours? If the answer is yes, then stop lying to yourself. She's not too busy. She's just not invested. And if you keep accepting that imbalance, you're teaching her that your time has no value. The truth is simple. A woman who truly wants you will never risk losing you to busyness. She'll show up. She'll initiate. She'll prove that you matter. Not with words, but with consistency. 7. She keeps you around, but talks to other guys. This one cuts deep. Because it exposes the truth that most men don't want to face. She wants your loyalty, your attention, your emotional energy. But she won't give you the same in return. Instead, she keeps you hooked, while keeping her options wide open. She'll remind you that you're not official, yet she still expects you to drop everything the second she calls. That's not equality. That's control. Picture this. You're always available. You text back fast. You answer every late-night call. You wait for her to choose you. But while you're waiting, she's posting thirst traps on social media, replying to DMs, or hanging out with male friends who clearly want more. And when you question it, she brushes it off. We're not exclusive. You're overreacting. You're being insecure. Meanwhile, if you even glance at another woman, she's suddenly defensive, jealous, and emotional. That's not love. That's a double standard designed to keep her in power. And here's where most men fool themselves. They convince themselves they're still the main guy. They say things like, "Sure, she talks to other guys, but she spends more time with me." That's not proof of value. That's your ego trying to protect you from pain. Because if she's entertaining multiple men while keeping you emotionally loyal, you're not her first choice. You're her safety net. Understand this clearly. A woman who truly respects you doesn't play games. She doesn't keep you guessing while she shops around. She chooses you, and shows it. Not with excuses, but with consistency. Not with words, but with actions. Anything less is manipulation. So stop fighting for a place in someone's life who treats you like a backup plan. Stop being the man who waits while she experiments. Because every minute you stay in that role, you're proving that she can disrespect you and still keep you around. No man with self-respect settles for being an option. You weren't built to compete for attention. You were built to be chosen. Once, with clarity and intention. And the moment you realize that, you'll stop fighting for a spot that was never yours to begin with. Red flag number 8. She only shows up when she needs something. This is the final, clearest sign. The one that removes all doubt. If she only appears when she needs something, she's not your partner. She's using you as a utility. Look at the pattern. She disappears when life is good. When she's happy, distracted, or surrounded by excitement. But the moment she hits a wall, when her car breaks down, when she's short on money, when she's upset or lonely, suddenly you're the first person she calls. Not because she misses you, not because she cares, but because she knows you'll pick up. She knows you'll listen, you'll fix, you'll comfort, you'll do what you always do, show up, even when she doesn't deserve it. Picture it. Weeks of silence. No check-ins, no effort, no curiosity about your life. Then out of nowhere, "Hey, can I ask you a favor?" And your heart tricks you into believing it means something. You tell yourself, "She trusts me enough to come to me. That must mean I matter," but you don't. Because trust built on convenience isn't intimacy, it's extraction. She leans on you because it's easy, not because she's invested. You've become her emotional crutch, not her emotional priority. And the more you respond, the deeper you sink into that role. She doesn't see you as a man. She sees you as a solution. And the longer you play that role, the more you'll forget that you were meant to be treated as a partner, not a tool. A woman who truly cares for you will be there not just when she needs, but when she chooses. She'll show up to celebrate you, to encourage you, to add to your life, not just take from it. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time she showed up for you without needing anything in return? If the answer is never, then you already know. You're not in a relationship, you're in a transaction. And every time you rush to fix her problems, you're signing up to be used again. The truth is brutal but freeing. If her presence in your life depends on what you can give, she's not your woman. She's your responsibility. And that's not love. That's bondage. The wake-up call. So here's the bottom line. If even half of these red flags sound familiar, you're not in a relationship. You're in a performance. She's the star, and you're the supporting cast. You're not being chosen. You're being used. And every time you ignore the signs, you're trading your dignity for scraps of attention. Every time you convince yourself she'll change, you're handing her more power, while losing more of your own. A strong man doesn't beg for time. He doesn't chase validation. He doesn't compete for a spot in someone's heart that was never open. He knows when to walk away. Because walking away isn't weakness. It's reclaiming control. Ask yourself this right now. How much longer will you allow yourself to be drained, sidelined, or treated as an option? How much longer will you let your energy feed someone who only gives you emptiness in return? At some point, you have to decide that your peace, Your time and your value are worth protecting, because they are. And once you take that step, once you decide to stop being the backup plan, the emergency contact, the emotional provider, you'll feel something powerful. Freedom. Because strong men are not toys to be played with. They are not tools to be used. They know when to stop running in circles. They know when to stop fighting for someone who doesn't fight back. They know when to stop being available to people who treat them like an option. They know when to walk away. And that, right there, is the moment they take their power back. Closing for video, CTA. If this message hit home, it's time to act. Subscribe to Female Code Unlocked for more truth most men will never hear. Like this video if you're done settling for less, and comment below if you've ever been in this situation, because other men need to see they're not alone in this battle.